Hey guys, welcome back to another reading vlog. It's Monday. I'm kind of getting this one off to a late start because it's almost 6:30. I actually just sat down and filmed my August wrap up, so I think you're gonna see that before this one. Anyway, today's been an okay day so far. I had a panic attack this morning, but we're recovered now. We're back. We're a little bit exhausted from it, but we're powering through. I think I'm gonna have some fried rice, and I have a book I'm currently reading that I want to talk a little bit about because it's really lifting my mood a little bit, and a lot of you guys have been asking for recommendations for books that will kind of cheer you up and make you happy, which is what I want to do. So this is the aftermath of my filming. Yeah, now I have to clean it up and put them all back. So I'm currently reading A Castle in the Clouds by Kirsten Gier. It is, I think it's a romance set in the Swiss Alps at this really remote hotel planted on like the top of the mountain where basically no one goes. Very remote, isolated place. And we're following our main character, Sophie, as she is kind of scrambling along with the duties of being an intern at this hotel. And at the moment, a lot of those duties seem unfortunately to be babysitting monstrous rich children, and she hates it, and I love her. But it is set right around Christmas time. It is so cozy. I kind of wish I was reading this during the winter months and whatnot, but it's definitely kind of making me excited for fall. However, I think this book also has something to do with like a secret heist or like an invasion or crime of some sort occurring at this hotel, so I kind of love this mix of like a weird snowy romance and essentially Die Hard-esque things happening, so that's great. I'm not very far through A Castle in the Clouds, which is what the hotel is also called. It's kind of like the name it goes by, but I'm really liking it. Anyway, I'm gonna clean up all this stuff and then I'm gonna go have some dinner. So it's a little bit later and I'm just winding down for bed. I think I'm gonna make a cup of either chamomile or sleepy time tea. I don't actually like the taste of sleepy time tea, or at least the one I have. I think it's by Celestial. I think it tastes yucky, but it knocks me out. The pros and cons. I'm about to take all this makeup off from filming. I'm about to get nice and cozy in here. I might listen to a little bit of A Castle in the Castle in the Clouds. I'm really liking it so far. I think there might be a little bit of a ghost story or something going on in it. I'm not really sure yet. I guess we'll have to stay tuned and find out. But tomorrow I need to run to the grocery store to pick up a few things, namely some ingredients for the mystery something that I'm gonna be baking while I film the Q&A video, because you guys sent in a whole bunch of questions, so many questions, so I'm excited to try and answer them all while I bake the something. Anyway, think that's gonna be it for me for now. I'm really tired. There's a full moon tonight. It's beautiful. So yeah. Good morning, it's Tuesday. So I don't think I mentioned in last week's vlog because I think I stopped before the weekend, but I did finish Sailor Moon. I love this so much, like probably almost 5 stars. I just had the best time ever, and I just want to get volume 2 immediately because it was just such a good time. Like, I can't remember the last time I had this much of a good time with a book, and I loved it. As of right now, Sailor Mars is still my favorite character in the manga. She's still my favorite guardian. She's great. Anyway, I'm just so happy that I got to read this. Also, in A Castle in the Clouds, which is the book I'm reading now, they just mentioned Rilke, and I was like, wait, pause that audiobook, because they're talking about how like the hotel is a real hotel in Switzerland, I believe, and he actually stayed there and wrote some of his poems there, some of his poems that he wrote in French when he was there, and I was like, whoa. It's just really funny because the first time that I ever knew or was introduced or heard mention of Rilke was from a different young adult book. It was the Shiver series, or I think it's called Mercy Falls, actually is what the series is called, by Maggie Stiefvater. In it, like Sam, one of the characters, he leaves Grace like little snippets from Rilke's poetry. So that was like the first time I ever knew that he existed, and yeah, it's just funny to like see him crop up in another young adult book, but I was like so happy about it. I'm really enjoying A Castle in the Clouds, actually. I love books that are set at hotels and that focus around hotels or motels. I think they're great. I think there's so much opportunity to do really cool stuff there, so especially because this one's like at a very remote, extremely luxurious, fancy hotel set up in the Swiss Alps. It's like great. Unfortunately, now I have to put this back on my shelf, but my middle grade / children / graphic novel / manga shelf on my bookshelf is completely full, so I'm gonna have to do some moving around today. Hi friends, it's Wednesday now. I have a few reading updates, and then I think I'm going to be filming a video today. It is now the 2nd, I think, of September, and it feels really weird and very saddening, actually, that like it's kind of the fall now, and I know a lot of people have just gone back to school, and it's going to be like my first September since kindergarten where I haven't gone back to school for this semester, and it just feels really weird. So I was feeling quite down about that today and yesterday because I'm someone who really loves school, like almost above all else. So I thought I would film a video today having to do with university and English degrees and English studies and just school stuff to kind of feel like I was still in it a little bit. So that's what I'm about to go do. Super excited. I also have a couple reading updates. I am now 120 pages through Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. I'm still loving it. I still think this could be a 5-star read because it just has everything I want ever. The writing is amazing, the ideas are amazing, the analysis and like going deeper into it provides some really scary stuff, and the science fiction is actually, my brain hurts. Like, there's so much in here that tries to take on the form of being like an actual scientific journal and academic papers about Solaris that Chris Calvin and everyone else around him has to read and go through, and it's so interesting. It's definitely very hard to follow at times, so hard to picture, and it just makes your brain work a lot, and I'm adoring it. Like, I'm loving it so much. I'm not really sure how it's gonna end though, because I think I only have about 80 pages left, so I'm kind of concerned, but that is Solaris. I'm really sad that I finished Sailor Moon and I now have no more Sailor Moon to read. I think I might literally just sit down and order volume 2 because I really just want it in my life. It was making me Hello. It was making me so happy and giving me so much joy, and now it's gone. And now I finished it, and I don't have the second volume, so I think I might order that soon. In that case, I started a different book last night, one that I also thought was going to be easy for me to read because it's quite short. It's a book of poetry. Really struggled to, I don't know. I know it's not being mean to say that you don't like a book, but I just feel bad about it, especially when the author is still alive and writing. I don't know. It is a book of poetry. It's a book of modern poetry, and I'm not getting along with it at all. That book is Aphrodite Made Me Do It by Trista Matier. This is a book of poetry all about self-care. I do want to say the most important thing, the main message and the values and the self-love component of this poetry book. Super important. I, of course, am not saying I don't like those things because I love them. I love them. I wish them on everybody and on myself. But in terms of the poetry, I just can't, like, in good faith be like, yes, it's good. It's actually really, really bad. It's that kind of like modern poetry style where they only like take the whole page to tell you one sentence that a lot of the time feels like something like your mom or your grandma would order to be sewn onto a couch cushion to put on your couch, and it's like really, really bad. Really hard for me to get through. One thing I do like about it is that when kind of the narrator and the speaker of these poems switches to Aphrodite, because she tries to take on the persona and this mythology and talk about stuff maybe you didn't know about Aphrodite, stuff that you didn't know about the goddess of love, and all of this stuff is very cool because I do like that side. I just think the writing is definitely bottom tier with all of the writing I've ever witnessed in my life, and that's been a lot of writing. So thankfully though, I am now 63 pages through, so I'm quite a bit of the way through. It also comes with some artwork, and a lot of it's kind of just like Photoshop and Microsoft PowerPoint exploration. And anyway, that is Aphrodite Made Me Do It. I'm also still loving A Castle in the Clouds by Kirsten Gier. I'm having like the best time ever with that. It's such like a fun, lighthearted hotel shenanigans book, like I said, and I'm loving it. So those are my little updates for now. I'm gonna try and sit down hopefully and film this video soon because I'm feeling in the feeling mood. And yeah. Sailor Moon reboot has hit me quite hard. I found this necklace online a few years ago, and oh wait, it gets better. Alright, so it is Thursday now, and I actually did something very exciting a couple days ago that I thought I would share with you all because I get this question asked a lot randomly on just certain videos, and that is, how many books do I actually own in my little library? Okay, yes, so I counted them all out on this whiteboard that I guess we'll do a dramatic unveiling. I separated them also into some categories. I have read, unread, and then I have 9 books from the bottom shelf of this bookshelf because they host all my anthologies, and I wasn't gonna kind of, you know, throw myself under the bus and count them towards my unread because that's quite a lot and quite unreasonable, so I just added them as a separate +9 tally in the deal. So okay, let me write them down first. So, out of my bookshelves, I have the +9 anthologies. Then we have 182 books that I've read that I own. And then we have 198 unread books that I haven't yet read that I own. Which means, if I can do math, that I own 389 books. Yeah. I actually didn't think I owned anywhere near 400 books at all. Like when I look at it in my mind, it just doesn't compute to any number near there, but that is quite a big number. And to be fair, the split between read and unread is a lot closer than I thought it would be. I also love owning a lot of books I haven't yet read, so I always have like a big choice for my next book. But that is so cool. We're almost in the neighborhood of 400 books. So there you go, for everyone who's been asking. Quite exciting. Feeling very happy today because my tea matches my outfit. I made some black cherry tea, which I've never had before. Usually I don't like cherry flavored things, but I thought we'd give it a go. Plus it's very nicely pigmented red and it's great. I just put some cream on my pimple that you can see from outer space. So that's that. I have some reading updates. All right, oh gosh, where do I want to start? Let's start with the good stuff. So Solaris, I'm absolutely still loving it. One thing I do want to say, I think like if this was my first time reading sci-fi or trying to get into sci-fi as a genre again or something like that, I would not recommend Solaris because it is quite dense, and that is one of people's main complaints that I've kind of seen and heard around, is that Lem just goes on forever and forever on these scientific journal entries about Solaris, and that is 100% true, and it is definitely a bit hard to conceptualize, and I'm finding it quite difficult to wrap my mind around some of the things that he's talking about. It's definitely a book that is just so well done, and I would like to read again and again and again so I could get kind of a better grasp on what's happening and what he's actually trying to comment on in this intersection between science and literature, which is one of my favorite things ever. So yeah, I'm just really loving this, but I think I wouldn't recommend it if you're just starting sci-fi, or if you want to get into like your first sci-fi or something like that, because this is definitely where I would not want to start, but it's just extraordinary. It's amazing. Okay, and then we move on to Aphrodite Made Me Do It. She's gonna make me do it. It's just really not good, and there's not even that much that I can like critique about it. I really don't like saying something isn't good without explaining why it's not good, or why explaining why this taste isn't good, or why it's just bad. But for example, when one page literally takes up both sides of the book, both pages, and it says, "You don't have to forgive anyone," and then the other page says, "But you can." Yeah, it's just quite bad, and I'm like, you used paper for that? So unfortunately this one is actually quite painful. Those are just my honest thoughts, but I'm always a bit weary about these kind of modern, I don't want to say trendy, but a little bit trendy poetry books that come out, because they always make me cringe so hard. I was willing to give this one more of a try and go into with a big open mind, because it's about Aphrodite a little bit, and about Aphrodite leading you to this epiphany of self-care and self-love, and talking about what love is really, and Aphrodite's mythology, what the world has done to her mythology, which is still an interesting part. I just don't think I should have explored it through this, because it's actually bad. Like, there's no other word I can use. Or like another, literally one sentence is, "All of us are survivors until we are not anymore." There is something to be said with these works, arguably. I'll take the other side for a little bit, saying that you could read so much into depth into these one sentences, or these one badly written sentences, but I just really don't think that's the case. It just seems like a very lazily written piece of poetry, and I just, yeah, I think it is quite valuable though to read things and to remind yourself like what goodness looks like, what quality looks like, what good poetry is. And I would kind of like to do a whole video talking about these modern poetry books. For example, the quote that's on the cover comes from "The Princess Saves Herself" in this one, or "The Sun and Her Flowers." Yeah, so that is Aphrodite Made Me Do It. Good news though, another good news, I'm loving A Castle in the Clouds. It is so magical. There's so many things going on. It's actually a bit of a mystery. We've got romance, we've got potential ghosts and like very scary things going on in this hotel. I'm loving the romance, I'm loving the atmosphere. I wish I was reading this book during Christmas time, because it's a very cozy, snowy book. It's in the Swiss Alps, like I said, so it's so good. I'm loving it so much. It's making me so happy and like so bright and bubbly every time I pick it up and listen to it again. So thankfully I am loving the other things I'm reading, just not that one. So I'm gonna go drink my cherry tea from the cherry tree. I've been just taking like so much fashion inspiration and getting just so in the mood to like create and style these outfits after Sailor Moon and after the characters in Sailor Moon, because if you haven't seen the anime or read the manga, they have the best sense of style. Their taste is out of this world, literally, and it's so good. Oh my gosh, I would love to create a whole video about like styling Sailor Moon outfits in real life or something. I'm pretty sure people have already done that, but yeah, just trying to squeeze joy out of anything I can these days. So that's what I'm gonna go do. So on the bright side of a bad book, actually, we did get some really cool prints that I just X-Acto knifed out of the book. People always get really kind of upset at me when I do that, but I mean, it's just paper. So I'm quite happy with these. I know I get to find like some new places to put them. These are probably like my favorite part of the book. This one's probably my favorite. I just think it's so nice. Also, I just finished it, so that means I can change these totals now to 183 red and 197 unread. So, progress.